So this video is going to give you the ultimate guide to lethals and tacticals inside Warzone. This video is going to focus on throwables. We might cover the other ones in a future video. If you enjoy watching videos like this and you want to see weapon comparisons and weapon breakdowns when the new Season 2 weapons release, subscribe to the channel because we'll be one of the first to release stats for those guns and we want to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. Also go ahead and click the link in the description and follow us over on Twitch. So the lethals and tacticals haven't changed much since Warzone has been released. The only one that's taken a nerf is the C4, and that was with its throwing distance as well as its detonation time. Other than those two changes, it remained exactly the same. Now the most important things inside Warzone for lethals and tacticals, the first thing is how far can you actually throw the lethals and tacticals, and secondly, how much damage does the lethals do and what is the effect of the tacticals. So we're going to discuss that all in this video. So firstly, we'll take a look at the damage for the lethals as well as the effect of the tacticals. This section of the video is taken from the exclusive Ace and his channel will be linked in the description down below, but a lot of this information was spread out across multiple videos of his and we managed to compile it all into this list right here. All of the throwable items are listed on screen just now. Now we're excluding smoke grenades as well as throwing knives because they're slightly different. Starting off with a flash, when you get flash, your screen turns white and your movement doesn't actually slow down, but what does happen is that your visuals do get impaired, and that lasts 5.9 seconds if you don't have battle hardened equipped. But if you do have battle hardened, that gets reduced down to 3.7 seconds, which is a good reduction. Moving on to stun grenades, now this does slow down your movement overall. It kind of impairs your visuals as well, but not that much. But the main effect of the stun is to slow down your overall movement, and that effect lasts 5.7 seconds as the base, and then if you do have battle hardened equipped, that gets reduced down to 2.3 seconds. Quickly just talking about the flashes and the stuns, the base effect is pretty huge because 5.9 seconds and 5.7 seconds is a really long time inside Warzone. Considering most weapons kill in around 700 to 800 milliseconds inside Warzone, if you get flashed or stunned, you're pretty much as good as dead. Moving on to gas grenades now I'm going to need to explain this a little bit. So if you get hit with a gas grenade and you don't have battle hardened, you put your arm up to stop yourself from coughing, and this lasts 2.5 seconds and it stops you from ADSing. Now if you do have battle hardened equipped, you don't get that animation at all, so you can ADS straight away. Now your overall movement speed is slowed down for 7.7 seconds. So this mainly affects your tac sprint as well as your sprinting. You can still aim down sights and shoot enemies as normal, so it's not that big of a deal. But the main issue is getting past that 2.5 seconds, and on top of that you're coughing the whole time, so enemies know where you're at. If you're standing right on top of a frag grenade without EOD, it's going to do 140 damage. With EOD, it will do 80 damage. The same damage profile applies to C4 as well as SEMTEX, so that's exactly the same in terms of damage profile. The only difference between these three is the different blast radiuses, but we're not going to cover that in this video. Now explaining how Molotovs as well as thermites work, they both work very similarly. So when you do get impacted by a Molotov as well as a thermite, they start off doing 50 damage, then after that they have a tick and every tick does 25 damage. And this means it does damage over time, so it's about 300 milliseconds per tick, and like I said, that does 25 damage. If you stay inside the radius of where the Molotov has been blown up, it will take 2.7 seconds to kill you overall. Now, it's going to take a little bit longer if you do have EOD equipped, but it's only by a couple of ticks longer, so it's not going to be too much longer than 2.7 seconds. And then for the thermites, if you stay within the blast radius the whole time, you're going to die in 4.6 seconds. So a couple of things to note here, EOD does have an effect on thermites as well as Molotovs, but is not that big of an effect compared to what it has on SEMTEXs, C4 and grenades. Now there's a really easy counter to thermites as well as Molotovs even if you don't have EOD equipped, and that is just running out of the blast radius or the explosion radius, and then you'll stop taking damage immediately, which is very useful to know. So as long as you're not near the flames or near the thermite, you'll stop taking damage from it. The only time you continuously take damage from a Molotov as well as a thermite is if the enemy has direct impacted you, meaning that they've stuck you with the thermite. The same goes for SEMTEX. If someone gets a direct impact on you, you're going to die straight away, regardless of whether you have EOD or not. The last thing I'll talk about on damage is that the blast radius for Molotovs is slightly larger than the radius for Thermite, so if you're trying to impact a larger area, then Molotovs are the better option. Like I said, the other main factor that you need to consider when choosing a lethal or a tactical is how far you can throw it. We all know by now that after the C4 nerf, it's pretty much like throwing a wet sock. It's not really going to go anywhere. Moving on to throwing distances, we calculated this ourselves inside Plunder. And we calculated from the point we were stood at to the direct impact spot of that tactical or lethal. One thing I want to point out here is that if you tack sprint and jump, you can throw your flash, your stun, your C4 a lot farther than if you're just standing still. And this is why I say this is a huge tip in our tips and tricks videos. Starting with flash grenades, if you're stood still, you're going to be able to throw it at around 34 meters. Now if you tack sprint and jump, it will boost that up to 49 meters, which is a huge boost. Standing still with a stun grenade would allow you to throw it at 36 meters, and then if you tack sprint and jump, we'll boost that to 46 meters. Standing still with a gas grenade would allow you to throw it at 44 meters, and then tack sprinting and jumping will allow you to throw it at 55 meters. Now this is the farthest for all the tacticals in the game. For frag grenades, if you're stood still and throwing at about a 45-degree angle, you can throw it at about 55 meters. Then if you tack sprint and jump, you can get that to 60 meters. There's not a huge bonus there. Again, standing still with a Molotov and throwing it at a 45-degree angle will allow you to throw it at 48 meters. Then if you tack sprint and jump, you can get that to 60 meters, so it's a good bonus there. C4 standing still, you can throw at 9 meters. Tack sprinting and jumping gets you to 14 meters. SEMTEX standing still gets you to 43 meters, and then tack sprinting and jumping gets you to 50 meters. So again, not a huge bonus there. Now you can see that Thermites you can throw standing still at 86 meters, which is the absolute farthest you can throw any equipment inside this game. Now if you tack sprint and jump, you can get that to 101 meters, which is insane. And this is more than double any other equipment. So other than the insane throwing distance of the Thermites, which is pretty cool, I do want to point out that with the gas grenades, C4, SEMTEX, and grenades, you need to throw all of those at about a 45-degree angle to make sure you get the farthest distance possible. Even when you're trying to tack sprint and jump, you need to do the same kind of thing. Whereas flashes, stuns, and Thermites travel through the air very quickly, you don't really need to try and get a good angle on it. It's already going to go pretty far, not to mention that stuns as well as flashes bounce off the ground as well. So you can use that to your advantage. Now quickly recapping all of this, the Thermites you could throw the furthest, but in terms of the most damage for lethals, you do want to stick to grenades and SEMTEXs and C4. They will do the most damage on direct impact, and out of all of those, the one that you could throw the furthest is regular grenades. In terms of tacticals, the one that you can throw the furthest is the gas grenade, but in my opinion, the most effective one actually is the stun grenade because it impairs movement so much. Personally, I'm going to stick to using stuns after finding all this out because I do feel like they're the most effective inside Warzone. But in terms of lethal equipment, I've been using Thermites for quite some time, as you can see in the background, but now I'm going to switch to using maybe SEMTEX or regular grenades. If you enjoyed this video, leave us a like as it helps us get recommended more. If you're new to the channel, subscribe as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and we'll be covering a lot of content on Warzone Season 2. And follow us over on Twitch, and thank you very much for watching.